Hey, I'm Cole, and today we're going to finish transforming this dining space. To complete this country cozy dining room glow up, we will be refinishing the oak carver dining chair frames, reupholstering the seats, building the dining nook, paneling the wall, and adding the finishing touches. This video is part 2 of 2, so if you want to see the stripping of the chairs, ripping up of the old flooring, and laying the new floor with very heavy limestone tiles, you might want to check out part 1 first. Otherwise, let's get straight into it, because as you can see, we've got plenty to get through in this episode. It's a beautiful spring day in the UK, so I'm going to get some hard wax oil onto these solid oak frames. As you can see, the chairs still hold all of their awesome character, and as the hard wax oil dries, the chairs will darken up slightly, hopefully to match the oak dining table. This stuff works wonders at revitalizing wood, protecting it, and really helping that grain pop. I then get busy freshening up the room with some Farrow and Ball Schoolhouse White. This is the base colour throughout our home, and we find it complements the other accent colours really nicely. The next day, all of the timber for the nook arrived, so I started cutting up the 2x4s for the frame. And yes, I am cutting it all by hand because I don't have a drop saw. But to be fair, it really only took about an hour to get through it all, and it's good for the old biceps. I also only have a standard drill and not an impact driver, so I opted for these screws, which I highly recommend. They can be used with an impact driver or with a standard drill, and they honestly went in so easily. There was no splitting, and I didn't need to pre-drill any holes. So spend a little more on screws and save yourself a headache if you also don't have an impact driver. You gonna help me? What about the wood? The wood needs to be screwed together. Perfect. Here I'm just laying a few pieces out on the floor to map out what it looks like and make sure I've made all the correct size cuts. And it's looking good, so I'm happy to get started. I assemble the frame in position and it creates a super snug fit, and it wasn't moving anywhere, so I actually didn't have to attach it to the wall. And that's how it's looking so far, and I think that is me done for today. And day 2. I started cutting up all of the 9mm MDF to cover the nook, and I also use 18mm MDF for the seat tops. You can get V-Groove MDF board, which is a lot cheaper, but we wanted this beaded paneling. It's just a bit more to the look we were going for. I use liquid nails to adhere them to the wall, but I also add a few nails here and there to hold it in place while it dries. Things seem to be trucking along quite nicely, so it's now time to get on to reupholstering these chair seats. And on that note, I'm just going to mention I am not a professional. In fact, I think this is only the second time I've ever done this. So I start by removing all of the staples and seeing what we've got underneath. Everything is in good condition, so I don't need to worry too much about the rest of this. I cut the material to size, probably cutting slightly too much for my first one, but I was being a little cautious. I do want to make sure that the lines are evenly placed on the seat top, so I'm making sure I lay the seat down with even spacing on each side. As per many of the videos I watched on YouTube, I staple each side down with one staple in the middle, ensuring that I'm pulling the fabric, but not too much, as I don't want those lines to go wonky. And once I'm happy with that, I staple along the rest of the sides, and then it is time to tackle those corners. I've seen there's a few different ways people do this, but I'm just doing it so that it looks the way I want it to look for me. And these look nice and neat and reasonably discreet, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now let me know if you would have done any of that differently. Always open to learning new things about upholstering, because as I said, I don't really know anything. Soph's just doing the first coat of primer with the smallest paintbrush in the world.
Literally. I was like, you start over there. I've got like a fucking toothpick to do it with.
We're short on brushes. After the primer is dry, which takes about half an hour, we get on to the main paint colour. This is going on reasonably red, but it does dry to more of a brown tone. I wanted to add some trim to all of the corners to really neaten it up, so I cut this trim to size and used liquid nails to attach it. And I used this nice beaded detail corner trim to cover the corners and really complete the look. After cutting the dado rail, I paint before it goes on so as I don't overpaint and hit the wall above. And that looks like it's time to call it a day. Finally, I add a premium beeswax to the chairs, primarily focusing on the heavy traffic areas like the arms and the headrests. After about 20 minutes, I come back and buff the beeswax to a nice satin sheen. Now, I tend to wax my furniture once a year to keep it looking sharp and protected. It is now time to cut the skirting, which is 120mm high, and it won't fit in my miter box, and as mentioned, I don't have a drop saw, so I'm going to do this by eyeballing it and hand. Now I do that by looking at the reflection in the saw, and I'm looking for that right angle. This is my first time trying it, but I have seen it online and the pros do seem to claim that it works, so I'm going to give it a go. And I get started. After I've cut through the detail, I grab a ruler and rule a line out and then follow that line with the saw. It's looking pretty good from where I am, but let's see if it works. Look at that. That is a very good result in my opinion. I love that I've learned that trick. We are getting custom cushions made to go across the tops of the bench, and that will be in the same fabric as the chair seats. The lids will also be on hinges so we can lift them up and store things underneath. There's also some skirting in the room that needs to be completed, but I think I get it to a pretty good standard to show you for now. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, as it was a slightly different format. This isn't my usual flipitnation style, and the next video will be back to normal. But if you are interested in seeing more of the styling of this area, the rest of our house renovations, including a new kitchen, in fact, we're just kind of working through all the rooms one by one, then you can jump across to our other channel, Sophia and Cole. I'll leave a link in the video description to that channel, and you can follow along there on our journey. But for now, let's take a look at what the room and the chairs used to look like and what it all looks like now. I would love to know what you think of this. I know it is a reasonably bold colour choice, but we really love it and we're super happy with how it's turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're keeping well, and until next time, take it easy.